Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We will go ahead with the talk, and I'd like to take this occasion to request the Ambassador of France, Ambassador Galli, Nicolas Galli, to kindly come to the stage and make his opening remarks.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I think we are inaugurating a new form of a surrealistic event, which is to talk about photographies without, at least for the moment, having them on the screen. Hopefully it will come, and I see that everybody is working on this. Thank you very much for coming and also for waiting, because this is obviously unexpected. But hopefully, again, it will be solved soon. So I have a few things to say about our guest and star of today, Ferrante Ferranti. What I'm going to say is a bit like the speech you make when you present a medal to someone, but there is no medal at the end, I should tell you. But it's just to say a few words. First of all, about the more general engagement of the French embassy here in the festival, this well-known, world-known festival of Lahore, and congratulate firstly Razi Ahmed and the LLF team for the 10th anniversary of this literary festival. The LLF has become a cornerstone of Lahore's cultural life, but I would say far beyond Lahore, that reflects the long literary tradition of this city, tradition of literature and poetry, and its status as a UNESCO City of Literature. As I said, the French Embassy has supported the festival since its inception, that's of course 10 years ago, and many French writers, scholars, journalists and artists have participated in the festival over the years. These literary and artistic encounters are central of the cultural relations between France and Pakistan, and a way to build mutual understanding, and as you all know, cultural activities are really part of our foreign policy everywhere in the world. This year we have invited, as I said, first of all, Dr. Corinne Lefebvre, a historian and a scholar of Mughal history from the Center for Southeast Asian in Paris. She will give a lecture tomorrow on her latest book on Emperor Jahangir, who had a major influence of the history and architecture of the city, but I think it's not this place to tell you about this. You are a bit aware of it. Our second guest this year is Ferrante Ferranti, whom I am pleased to introduce to you now. To summarize the breadth and depth of the work of Ferrante Ferranti as a traveler, photographer and writer, let me describe, as far as I can do it, who he is and what he does. You live in Paris, Ferrante Ferranti. You were born in 1960, like me, in Algeria, from parents who came from two beautiful islands in Italy, Sardinia and Sicily. Fascinated by French architect Fernand Pouillon, and if you were born in Algeria, you certainly know all the constructions that were made in Algeria, and it happened that I know a little bit about them. And about the book he wrote, The Stones of the Abbey, the portrait of a medieval monk architect in southern France. Ferrante Ferranti began training as an architect in Toulouse, a beautiful city in the southwest of France, which is usually known as the Airbus city, but there are a lot of other things in Toulouse. He then trained in theaters and scenography on the Baroque period, which gives a sense of his very broad interests. And he likes to say that he took his first photograph at the age of 18. That's not very young, by the way. A wave at Belle-Île-en-Mer, a beautiful island off France's Atlantic coast. As a teacher, you taught Hispanic civilization at the University of Artois in northern France until 2011. You then taught photography at Sciences Po in Paris, and you are now teaching photography at the Catholic University of Angers in western France. And you have conducted several photography workshops in France and around the world. But you are also an author, of course. You have published several books on photography, most recently Reading Photography, Lire la photographie in French, which was published in 2015. As a traveler photographer, you have been collaborating for 35 years with the writer Dominique Fernandez in an exploration of the Baroque and different strata of civilization from Bolivia to Siberia. That's a long distance. His photography work, your photography work was shown in many cultural institutions in France, including at the Maison Européenne de la Photographie, which is the main photography museum in Paris, which held the first retrospective of your work in 2013. So I was about to say that Ferrante Ferranti will now take you on a 40-year photographic journey, but I'm not sure I can say it at this stage, which is an exploration of civilizations and spirituality, which began at the age of 20 when you first went to Sicily, then to Greece in search of your roots. Inspired by the ancient Greek epic poem, the Iliad and Odyssey, and the writing of the Swiss writer Nicolas Bouvier, your journey took also you to Egypt, where you became interested in Islamic arts, and then to Syria, Iran, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, India, before finally arriving in Pakistan this week. So I will ask you to make, as much as it is possible, a presentation of your work, but that will show that among your many talents, you even have the talent of talking of something that people cannot see, and that everyone have the possibility to imagine. Thank you very much. Shukriya.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a huge challenge for me. It's very strange because normally I have to show photos. So I hope I will make you dreaming about some countries, and I will speak about Lahore. It's my real meaning of coming today. So first, I would like to thank the French Embassy. They are so kind with me to invite me to that festival, and also the people responsible of the festival. It's a huge honor for me. So what happened is that we have a problem with a link, but perhaps we will have a gift of photographies. It could be my gift, my second gift. No. Okay, so what happened is, as Monsieur Ambassador told, I was architect, and when I came the first time in India, it was in 1985, somebody told me, you have to go to Fatehpur Sikri. And immediately I arrived in the city. As you know, it's a ghost city, very impressive for an architect as me. I was at that time 85 years old, and I came also 85. Sorry, it was in 85. It was in 85, and I was 25. And so what happened is that immediately I understood that the Mughal civilization was so impressive and so strong, so powerful. So immediately I heard about the fact that he has to leave for Lahore. He led the capital, and he was building the new one, and the name became absolutely magic. And at that moment, I began to dream about the city, and not only on the city, but also on that type of travelers. So why I spoke about Ulysses, first because I was speaking yesterday with a friend, and he told me, why are you looking for Ulysses in such a travel going to East? Ulysses was the first one, as you know, who really could find a solution for the famous Troja War. But we don't know exactly what was the Troja War. It's a mythic, as you know, it's the first mythic text of our civilization, Occidental civilization, when finally they erupted Helena in Sparta, in Greece, but they went to the other side. And I think Ulysses was the first one who really intended to bring the Greek civilization on the other side. And today, even if it could be a conclusion, but it's too early for having a conclusion, that means immediately we have exactly the contrary. Everybody now, you know, by wars in Afghanistan, by so many tensions, everybody's dream to go back to the other side. And even because I'm born, as Mr. Ambassador told, I'm born in Algeria from Italian parents, we always dream about the other one, the other side. And all the migrants today are just exactly making the same way by Turkey, also by Minor Asia, to go to Greece, and from Greece to Germany and so many countries. So this is exactly what I would like to translate, if by by chance we could have some photographies. And I was also telling if the Troy war existed, we think about 10,000 years before Christ. It was for controlling the Détroit des Dardanelles. Dardanelles destroyed. That means it was the unique pass for going to the Black Sea, but also to arrive in the other side. Means also, and just to control that, because Troya is exactly at that point, means the meeting point between the two continents. And as Istanbul is today, that means there's a oriental side and occidental side, means it's exactly the cross to the two. And as you know, with Crusade, as you know, with the highest crisis of Christianity also, we always have Istanbul as the fracture between Occidental Empire and Oriental Empire. So, living from not only from Troya, where finally we never know it was the real city, but where when you go to Troya, we have a real power of imagination. We can see Hector and Achilles and so many heroes exactly on that side, looking for the victory, but Ulysses was helping for the victory. And from that moment, we have also two other travelers. So if we can see the title, my title, I put more Alexander the Great, because he was, I think, the second model, coming from Macedonia and crossing all that countries. I have the map on the document. We have immediately the same way of Nicolas Bouvier, the third man. Who was Nicolas Bouvier? I was asking in the few days when I arrived in Lahore that very few people knows him. And because we are at the Festival of Literature, Nicolas Bouvier is from Switzerland. His father was a pastor, a priest, Protestant priest, but very, very he was absolutely fascinated by literature. He wrote everything when he was young, and immediately he began to dream from traveling. So he left in 1953 from Greece, from Switzerland, and he crossed all the Balkans, and he arrived in Minor Asia. I don't like to tell Turkey, because Turkey is always, such a political country. But it's a real place of civilization. But there is one place in Turkey, very important for me, is Termessos, where the name appears in Iliades, means so far away. So I have a photo also of the theater, and on that places you can imagine that all the travelers of that time, even Ulysses, could be, if he didn't went on the west side, means in Sicily and all the places where we can find in the songs, in the text of Odyssey, we have exactly some places that perhaps Ulysses could go if he went on all the coast of Minor Asia. So there is a very important notion for me, means the places for oracles. When Alexander the Great has to leave for his travel, he went to Siwa. That means the south place. So if you look the movement of the Greek persons, they left immediately from Delphi, which was exactly the center of the religious cult of Apollo. And from that place, they could do everything. So they went to the east, to the west, by Greece and by Italy, and they arrived to Cuma, means Neapolis. That means the new Naples, the Naples of today. But the place was done for having also here a place for consulting the oracle, because all the Greek people were attached to that relation with the divine, and mostly for Apollo. So we have on the west side Cum, on the east side, when they arrive in Minor Asia, they have Didymus, wonderful, one of the most great temple of about the cult of Apollo, and Alexander the Great went to Egypt in Siwa, and the oracle of Ammon tell him, okay, you can conquer the east. So he went, as you know, until the Indus. You know so well the story of Alexander the Great, because he's very present here. So on that step, I think everybody was fascinated by this direction to the east. Why? Because Alexander the Great was the first one who really create the relation between in art. As you know, I went in the museum yesterday morning, and we have so many wonderful statues, and one of the most famous statue of Buddha. We have two. I saw this with fascination and really great interest. And here we can imagine that finally all the East and the West has left traces, very important traces. But also by not only by spirituality, it's also, I think, that the curiosity, always looking for the other one, always looking further and understanding, and finally mixed. I'm very interested on syncretism, not only also in religion, but also in social aspects. I mean, on the moment of finally you have to learn from the other one and not to stay always close in your own mind and in your civilization, so in your own believers. So Nicolas Bouvier crossed all Turkey, went to Iran, went also to Afghanistan, but there is a mystery. So this is my function today. I'm dreaming to have to go on his way. Why? Because the book stopped the famous Usage du Monde, the way of, I love the title. In French means use the world, but you can also understand that the world is using you. That means the world is bringing you so much energy, and sometimes you are just in position to receive the energy of the other one. So if you're never the same, at the end, meeting the people, meeting the civilization, looking for so many treasures and so many masterpieces everywhere in the world. So immediately you are different. You became more with different energies, and from that moment, he stopped in Khyber Pass. Why? He never wrote on Pakistan and never in India also. We have only one word. He thought India is too beautiful. Means that what he was not able, he was surprised. He was, I was in the fort this morning, all morning, fascinated also by that, the beauty of the place. And I had as you know, the syndrome de Stendhal. Means Stendhal, the great writer in France, he came to Italy, he was dreaming about Italy, and when he arrived, he saw so much beauty, and finally he was like falling down, because he received too much beauty. And in the fort, it was exactly like that this morning. So I was telling to my friends, I think we have to leave too much beauty. I think we have to rest about that. So this effect is done by the real desire for us to go always to meet the people, to meet the civilization. But Lahore, I think I will speak about Lahore at the end. So Khyber Pass means the symbol, another pass, another cross for two countries, two continents also. And finally we have, is it okay? It's done, okay. Thank you for being so patient. Okay. I think I did the introduction. So now the documents will be so clear for you, so clear. So and we will run on photographies, and you will really happy to see all the places I would like to share with you. So we will see first the maps, the 3 maps. That is my project. So I would like also to really thanks Dylan Gellar, who is really the people who create all that wonderful to give me that we have the idea together. That means we create the project together, because I did an exhibition in Turkey in 3 cities for trying to translate that Turkey doesn't exist. It's exactly the place where everything was crossed. That means on the 2 sides, even because Troya is okay. It's perfect. I can move also. It can let me less stressed. Okay. So if you see, as I told you, you have Delphi here in Greece. Okay. Delphi is here. That means they live here. Cum is here for Italy, and I told you Didymus is here. Exactly. That means, but Siwa is here in Alexandria. So this is the project of Turkey. Now is more rich. I went also now in Tajikistan last year. Now I have Lahore in my program, in my life. So this is the catalog was only showing that places. So Nicolas Bouvier, you will see, this is the road. This is all the countries I saw. and also Armenia, Georgia. You will see Azerbaijan. I went last year or so. Iran, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Pakistan. Next, please. So it was the text in English for being more clear at the beginning, but you have no time for read it. Only exactly what I did, but I think just for it was just remembering the Odyssey, which is one of the most important texts for us. Okay, next one, please. And Pasolini. So what happened exactly when you become photographer? You have to dream, because this is the only memory we can have from Troya. If you see, they have many levels from Schliemann, the man who decided, but it's totally parodic today, because everybody would like in all the places, just to give life to the lost memories. Huh? So this is Troya. After you have, yes, next one. I think we have to run. Thank you. This is the other side of the Detroit after Istanbul on the north. This is the entrance of the Black Sea. Means it's also a place, very important place, with a huge un phare. Comment on dit un phare déjà? A lighthouse, yes, exactly. And I love that photos because it's exactly the opposite of all we see normally. That means if you go on that direction, immediately you go in Asia. You are in the other continent. Okay? So this is a evocation on Knidos. Knidos was a very important place in Minor Asia, where you have the famous Aphrodites of l'Aphrodite de Praxitèle. That means the most famous sculpture of the antiquity. And it was exactly the place where finally Ulysses could cross. But next one, please. Thank you. This is the famous theater of I spoke to you. It's absolutely amazing. And it was done after. It's normal. We are the 2nd century of 3rd century before Christ. But you can see that some places are so rich, so has such a power of evocation. Now, next one. This is exactly the images. What means Ulysses is the man who stayed with Calypso for many years, and he decided to go out of the growth and just to come back, to go back by sea to his country. But this is an image for me evocating, really able to evocate what happened today, as I told you before, the people going through the sea, like in Greece, for arriving in the new continent. This is the Alexander trip, as you know, so he went here to Siwa, and from here he came exactly the way, and he conquered all that places, and you will see that finally is quite the same of Nicolas Bouvier. So I saw you the photo of Cume, la grotte de Cume, the place where the travelers are used to consult the oracle. And here you see Didymus. This is the corridor, very well conserved today, where finally all the monks were crossing to have the liturgy. New one. Okay, this is Nicolas Bouvier. So if you are interested, it's the translation exists, The Way of the World. For me, it's not a good title. The Way is the way. Using the world is totally different. So you have, you can see exactly the details. And he was a photographer. See, he never imagined that he could be a photographer. It was the only way for him to translate exactly what he was feeling. And as you see, he make all the trip with this type of, with one car, who was always broken. He was always looking for some solutions. But he wrote wonderful text, and as you see, the photo were very alive. I just saw you Nicolas Bouvier, next one please, because he inspired me. On the second part of the talk, you will see what happened. Exactly when it was my first photo in '81, when I went in Turkey for the first time, another photo I did in Armenia, for example, waiting for a bird in some caravanserai, very important places for all that travelers, and means exactly the place where they can meet with the other one. And this is a photo of Nicolas Bouvier, very famous. I wrote on it because it's exactly the time of the travelers at that time. We are always running today, but I was so lucky in Turkey to see exactly the same turtle, not exactly the same, but the same conditions. So immediately when you have a photo in your mind, in your imagination, you can also see the things differently. You have not the same vision on the reality. finally, it's a very good exercise just to run on photography if you have done an introduction. So there are my old photos of 81, you know, the slides, very bad conditions of photo. I was 21 years old, so I was not really, but I did the photos. I discovered first the civilization, and as you see, we can have on the same place in Istanbul, in the famous hippodrome, we have the obelisk and the minaret, means exactly the place where civilization met, and also the famous, the wonderful Ottoman places. And I did this photo linked to Medea from Pasolini, because when he had to go to make all that film, he went to Yemen and he went to Cappadocia. Next photo, please. And also I was fascinated by some writings. This is in Greece. We can't read that Greek. It's Xanthos. It's a very special language of Greek, very complicated for the archaeologues, but means that at that place there was some very special people writing the Greek. And here we have the graffitis of the Crusades. That means when people come, we were in the south of in Izmir, and they took the stone for letting some traces. So that means the type of writing is always very interesting for us. I went this morning in the fort, and so many people wrote on the walls. I'm not sure that it was the same quality, but it's okay. Okay, next one. So now it's always also the question of, you know, I was in Istanbul so many times, and the last time, as you know, Saint Sophie became a mosque again. That means the history is always moving, so it's very interesting to think about that. Not to judge, but also to imagine. As you know, the Saint-Sauveur in Cora, one of the most beautiful Byzantine church in the world, with Saint Sophie, and the cupola has not the same meaning now. Again. So I will show you some photos of Istanbul. As I told you, it's really the center of the civilization. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is also, we can see that with the Sufism. I'm really interested in Sufism, as we can see in other photographies. So we will run. So this is, I put that photos because it's also the way of looking the people differently. And the gift I will make for you at the end, if we can arrive at the end, is I did the portraits in 2 days in Lahore. People were so kind, so open-minded, so happy. They asked me the portrait. So I was looking for my whole portrait of Istanbul, and I will show you the last portrait I did yesterday in Istanbul. So this is Cappadocia. So we will run. This is the floor of Saint Sophie, but we can't see it now. It's totally covered by carpets, because now it's a mosque. So and I think it was so important for the pilgrimage, explaining that even the hearse keep the traces. That means that all the people who came in the mosque, in the church, and here we have Cappadocia. So I make the link between the materials. Please again. Yes. Sorry. So this is also I treated that photo as a miniature, because I'm very fond of miniatures. So when I saw the trees so delicate, I thought, okay, I will do my miniatures in photography. It was in a ruin in Turkey, and it's also the history when the nature take again his right on architecture. Again, please. So I would like just to speak about that place. I don't know if somebody, I think you can know that place. I think it's the real center of my talk. What? Because we are here in Nemrut Dag, which is a very important place. It was done in 57 after Christ by Antiochus, who was a descendant of Alexander the Great, but we consider that his father was from Persian culture. And in that place, we have people who know that two terraces, one on the east and one on the west. I was dreaming from that place. I went many times now, so the light was absolutely amazing. But I will show you the next photo, please. You have exactly, what happened here. And you have we have 5 divinities. We have the king, we have the divinity of the place, the Commagene. We have two Greek gods, Zeus and Apollo. Apollo Mitra, he has the 2 names, so you can understand exactly that is linked to Zoroastrianism. And we have a divinity at the end. It's mixed from Armenia and many other religions. So that means it's a very important place. We exactly tell my function. So we are in Urfa. Next one, perfect. We are in Urfa, very important for Salomon, always for the for Abraham. Sorry, also for the Bible, the ancient text. So it's very important place. Mythical. So we are mixing. So this is the limit from Georgia to Azerbaijan. Incredible places where we have the growths and the hermits were living here. It's up, David Gareja, really strong. And all what you see now on that photo was Azerbaijan. Here, next one, thank you. This is a caravanserai in Armenia and the oldest church we can see, because as you know, Armenia and Georgia was the first country we were really converted to Christianism. And Persepolis. And Persepolis is very important also. Why? Because it was destroyed by Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great was fascinated by the place. He thought that he understood the strongness of the civilization of the Persian people, but he understood, as in Dresden, in Germany at the end of the war, that he has to destroy the palace. It was very sad. And when he came back to the tomb of Cyrus, the creator, he was very sad also because it was profanated. So that means even here we can find the traces of Alexander the Great. So I just want to, this is the only photo I could do when I came the first time in Iran in 2006, when you can cancel the past. Even if it's destroyed, you can imagine it immediately how huge was the civilization by the columns, by the strongness of the stones. So next, I was in London some weeks ago, and there was a wonderful exhibition on Alexander the Great, and I was really surprised to see so many miniatures telling the story of Iskandar, very famous in all that places. So many people has this name. And it's so strong to know exactly that why they keep the memory, because it destroyed the civilization. But you can see he has the body of Darius III on his, is very sad about the death of his own enemy. And we can see also very interesting miniature destroying the Zoroastrian temples. So he was also against some of the religion. So we have to think about that also. Have we to destroy the all traces of religion when we arrive in the country? Next one. I think we will arrive easily at the end. So this is traces of all the beliefs in Iran that we have as the famous fire towers in the place or in near Persepolis. But you have also very, very well conserved places of Zoroastrianism. The Takht el Suleiman, that places. This is the corridor. I did exactly the photo influenced by the photo I showed you before with the places of oracles, where the priests are going to the fire temple. Next one. And this is we arrived in Iran. Iran was very important for Nicolas Bouvier because he arrived in Tabriz. The snow arrived with him, and he had to stay 6 months without moving. And we have to reinvent his own rhythm of life. They are the most beautiful pages he wrote on that, because it was the moment where he speaks about Rumi, Attar. He makes conference on Stendhal, for the Iranian people. It's very interesting. And as you see, we can have exactly what you can find here. That means the civilization brings all this, the model of this. Next photos, please. This is my favorite photo of Iran, because that girl was running, and we can imagine that she's crossing the apparences, the wall, she's going on the other side, because she was jumping on that hole and just catch it at that moment, and you can see the beauty of the civilization. Next one. So we arrive in Uzbekistan with very different aspect. Here we have in the tomb of a very important Sufi man in Khiva. And here we have in the mosque, and immediately there are the codes for me to look for your architecture. That means if you see the size, the balance between the scale with the people, how they used mosque, the entrance, all that we finally have to think about, and modernity. The man they were restoring the place, and that young man was so happy to make skate, on the big place. So that we have also to take care about it, to consider that new dimensions. And so we arrived to Khiva also. You have to know that for us, also in Occident, everybody is dreaming about this destination. All the Stan, you know, where all that countries were finally linked to civilization. Not only dreaming about the old civilization, but also by the way of living today. And the media, sadly, gave a very bad image of that. This is the reason why I'm so happy today to be an ambassador with another title of some wonderful shared I received. You will see. So we are arriving now in Afghanistan. I think it's the strongest country I could see. I went 2 times. I didn't find the photo of Bamiyan. I have of the Buddhas. I did the photos, but you will see. And immediately you understand that all the landscape you can have in that zone, even I think, imagine in the mountains here in Pakistan, are linked to this sort of, because we have the very few ways for crossing. So you have to protect the places by this sort of architecture. This is one of the place between, this exactly the view of the Buddhas in Bamiyan and sadly destroyed. And here we have the window inside the Buddha. Means exactly what happened. It's like a key, you know, giving the dimension of the power of the rocks in Afghanistan. And we arrive in, this is also other caravanserai, means always the same size, you know, same function, so important for crossing and meeting the people. And we arrive in very important place for Shia, is Mazar al-Sharif. So in the north of, and we have also tomb not far from Sufi, very, very important place. And here you can see it was the place where the big mosque of, I choose the photo exactly for making the link with what we can see now. I think we are arriving now in Lahore. Next one. No, this is a photo I did in Commandant Massoud place. And I received a gift because that man was running when I arrived. But when I processed the photo, it was a digital one. The sky was white. But as you can see, perhaps, here there is a bird. The cloud has the form of the bird. It's not so clear. It's very clear on the screen. There you can see that the bird is like flying. So it's also my function just to express the real dream we have of peace. And just to cut with all that fractures as we had before with the Troya War, you know, always against the other one, and going to the side only for victory. So this is, it's one of my the moving photo I had done on that place. It was on the top, and it was the tank he used it. So this is the ruin today of our civilization. This is the palace in Kabul, the palace Darul Aman, which is yet restored, but it was also linked to the power of Russian coming to Afghanistan and destroying everything. And it is very interesting, I think. You can really understand what happened in that photo. Is an artist today in Afghanistan. We decided to use the walls for denouncing the corruption. And in Dari language, everybody told me, you know, all you see badly, we can see it. You know, it's very courageous. And the artist now lives again in Kabul. I met him many times. And so I would like to see that also the conscience of the artist today is very, very strong. Last photo. So I did a photo in London last month, but because I had no time to prepare the photos as I did yesterday. But I think finally this conclusion, what happened with all that trips, we receive the energies of art of the other civilization, and we create a new one. And as you know, Gandhara art is one of the most fascinating art we can have everywhere. And so, conclusion, we will have some photos. I'm sorry because I did many photos from that moment. I couldn't have time to prepare them, but I would like to give you my first photo of Lahore. The next one. Sorry, okay. So we went with, Maria, she is here. Maria, I don't see her. Yes, I would like really to thank Maria Wazim. She was my guide. I moved because, just to have a dream and somebody takes you by the hand and brings you in the most sensible places. Thank you, Maria, for all you have done for me in 2 days and bringing me in the whole Lahore, really speaking with the people, sharing in so many ways. So you helped me to do that photo, so it's a gift also for you. So it's the first photo I did even with Dylan of the mosque. I did so many this morning. It was in Vajid Mosque, and also that dimension, as you know, they are linked to all the photos we saw before. And for finishing, okay. And so I would like to express really when somebody just look at you. There is no words sometimes, we have just to cross the eyes and somebody tell you, okay, we can have a special meeting without word, but with photography. So there are the people I met yesterday and the day before, and there is the last one after. Here, on the street yesterday, on everywhere, the people on the, on the Alevi and Aveli, sorry. And the last one is the photo, next one, and then we finish, I think, in time. 4 o'clock. Last one. No, before. Okay. It's not a good photo. I did it from the car, but I think that's exactly the photo that Nicolas Bouvier could have done here if he came to Pakistan. So I think that now we have to thank all that people who gave us the dream to come here, and thank you so much for receiving me in such conditions. They told me that we have 10 minutes for a question. Oh, such a wonderful gift. Thank you so much. Now, because I prepared with such passion, because it's always a way to understand exactly what the people can receive from you, but also give to you, perhaps. And that means it's sharing that photos, even if I had no more time to prepare them, to do them, not quickly. That means with tension. That means always being in tension for having that moment. Somebody asks a question. Please, I would like to see your faces. Because thank you. I'm sorry for creating such tension, so many tensions. Yes, there is a yes. You want a microphone here, perhaps?
So the photo you showed of the Hagia Sophia of the cupola before with the iconography of Christ and then later as a mosque, what has happened to that original? Is it behind that or has it been removed?
It is a very important question because I'm going to Istanbul every year, so I saw all the movement of that. First, Hagia Sophia, they put veils on on all the figures, and as you know, before we can go on the first floor. Now it's totally we can't go here because we have many images on iconography on the top, and I don't know because I could not go. I don't know if they are hidden or not. But the photo I did in Saint-Sauveur in Cora with, for me, the most beautiful Byzantine church in the world. And I came the day before without knowing what happened. And as you know, we have the most beautiful frescoes on the right side with the Jesus Christ going to the limbus, and for saving Adam and Eva. And here we could not go again. It's totally closed. No, it's finished. And they put the mihrab inside of the church, and it was a Tuesday, and on the next Friday, the day after, it will begin to be a mosque. So I don't know exactly, because you can't hide the mosaics in the place. It's impossible. Because there are so many, when you go across it's a small church, but it's it's like Monreale in Sicily, where we have all the Bible in mosaics. So it's very sad. It's not a judgment, but even if this tree always brings, it's like a palimpsest. It's one of my favorite words in the world. Palimpsest means we are all linked to that notion. That means we have always something under us. That means our civilization always grew up from that levels of civilization. So if you would like to cancel them, something will miss, I think. So I don't know now how it is, really. I know that, for example, the huge Virgin, you can't see it. They put a huge veil, and we know that it's on the back. Yes?
I am Ajaz, and I've been to K2 in 2013, and it's Pakistan has got a great mountainous wonderland, and out of 8,000 meter peak, we got 5. So I strongly recommend you to explore the northern areas of Pakistan. We got Bultoro Glacier. It is second largest non-polar glacier of the world. So some great sightseeing and some great photos opportunity.
Expecting to come here because, as you know, and I told before, the medias, something are always telling the worst. And meeting the people immediately, I would like to, and I should profit, I think, that moment to know exactly what happened, can happen, because my dream is to go, because when I went in Tajikistan, I could not show the photos. I was leaving from Dushanbe, but I went to all M41, the mythical road, to Karakul Lake. I had spent 2 weeks going on that way, and I was all the time along the border of Afghanistan for 600 kilometers. And always I know there is Afghanistan, but there is Pakistan on the north, not far from that place. And perhaps one day I could do it. So I would like to make all from Peshawar, all the valley from that, but perhaps it's too early to know exactly if it's possible. So, but it's my next project. I will use my visa for that. And if somebody wants to help me, that means or guide, give me to me the the keys. I will receive them with great pleasure. Okay, I will take them. Thank you so much. Thank you.